Hello class, this is my video presentation and it is about navigation options for small screen. You may found this very easy or you may already know about this because we have been learning that. But I found different ways to create a navigation for small screen that I didn't know before, so I found it very interesting, and I hope you can also find something interesting. If not, it's just a reminder about all the things you have learned. Um, so, what means responsive navigation? Responsive navigation means simply navigation that can fit properly on different devices and screen width. There are various ways to reach this objective by using CSS or other languages like JavaScript, PHP, and others. The examples of small screen navigation I'm going to show you in this video are hamburger button with drop-down menu, hamburger button with sidebar, and top bar with home and hamburger button. For this, I created this small page with the three examples, and I'm going to show you also a little bit of the code. And to start, we can see like the page is responsive because it's in a small screen and everything is in their place. When you make bigger, you're not going to see many changes because I didn't add any code for this uh, navigation to change for big screens, but in this one you can see how the navigation change for a bigger screen. So that's part of the responsive navigation, but we are focused in the small. So you can see how it change. Okay. So the first example is the hamburger button with drop-down menu that is we use in class. Typically with the hover and the active link. The HTML for this one is this piece of here, and all of them are very similar. They use the same structure, like a way of a button and the list of links, a piece of JavaScript and CSS. The JavaScript for this one is this small piece here that makes the button to hide and appear. And the CSS for this one is all this here. Okay. And from this one, what I found more interesting was the how to hide the bullets. For some reason, it was kind of hard for me. I didn't. It wasn't working, and I had to do this like I'm doing now to make a command for different parts of the code to recognize what they does until I figured it out that this piece was for take this out. So because we use it, but sometimes we just copy and paste the codes and we don't know exactly what they mean. And I found doing this is very useful to figure it out how each piece of the code works. Because there are a lot of stuff and we don't know, well, at least for me, I don't understand always what they does, and I don't always have the time to test and try. So but that's what I do usually. And this is for the links. This piece is for the links and the active hover, and this makes the button to hide the drop down list again. So the next example is very similar, is the hamburger button with a sidebar. Here the first difference is the label open, and I found it very interesting because you can see in many websites on their phone that they use icons without labels, and you recognize them because they are very popular. But they can be cases where you you pick an icon that is not very popular, and you make consider to add a label so users can know exactly what that link means, or at least they can understand what they would go if they link there. The other difference here is that instead of the drop down list, you can see a sidebar, a side list, and the style is very similar. In this case, it's also different. The hover is not a background color; it's just a change of the font color. Here you just need to play with the CSS, change numbers and colors, and just see what, create your own style. So the CSS for this code is all this here. Okay, all this here, and it's everything is labeled so you can know which CSS belongs to what element. And the third example is the top bar navigation with home and hamburger button, and you can see the homepage link and the hamburger button here, and the style keeps the same. And that's also something you can have in mind when creating the different responsive pages for your different devices, like to keep the theme of the website. So not like the desktop website doesn't need to be identical to the mobile version, but the theme should remain the same. Like you shouldn't like make big changes of the fonts or colors or things like that. So it's basically that you change the position of things, but you should keep the style, the colors, and things like that for all your different pages for the different devices. And well, for this navigation, the HTML is this one here. It's also very similar. They just use icons instead of a button. And the JavaScript code is this one here. And what it does is that make responsive the navigation bar. When it's bigger, it will be an horizontal bar, and when it's small, it will be this way. And I think I missed the JavaScript for this example is just this one right here. And what it does is that when the navigation is open, it will be 250 pixels width, and when it's closed, of course, it will be 0. And that's everything about my 3 examples. Uh, I hope you could understand. I'm not very good talking or explaining things, so sorry for that. I may give you other tips that I found when I was reading about things to have in mind when creating a navigation menu for small screens. And one was make your logo the link to the home page. List the most important pages first. Make your navigation intuitive. Be thoughtful about contrast and fonts, and design for touch. And make your logo the link to the home page. I found it very good because, like I was saying before, when you are navigating in complex pages with a lot of menus and images and videos, or a lot of content, you can get lost and you just want to go back to the begin, and it's very easy to find the logo of the page and click on it. I think that's a very good one for phone. For list the most important pages first. Um, Users want things as quick as possible. Organizing your pages in order of importance will help users find what they want faster. So, people don't want to wait, people want things very quick. And they get bored when they are reading and they don't find what they want. So, it's important that you can organize your pages and put them in an order that your user can find what they want fast. Make your navigation intuitive, either if it's a drop-down list or conventional symbols. Make sure that the user can understand it and know when each click goes. Here it comes what I was talking about, the labeling icons. You need to do everything in your website easy for your user to read, to understand, to see. So every step you do in your website, just try to make it something easy for your user. If not, just change it. And be thoughtful about contrast and fonts. Of course, you don't want people to zoom your pages because the text or buttons are too small. So just make sure that they are big enough for them to understand it without zooming. That would be very uncomfortable, and that would be a bad experience for them in your site. And design for touch. And this one, Google recommend building mobile pages with a minimum touch target size of 48 pixels with a property set viewport, and touch target should be apart 32 pixels, both horizontally and vertically. And here is when you have like two icons very close and you don't know where to click. So it's better if you leave enough space between each element so they can know exactly where they should click, or that they don't click in place for mistake because it was too tight or something like that. And that's the end. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry, I'm not good for this. I try to do my best. This is, I don't know, I lost my count of what number of intent is this one. And you can find all this information in W3 School. That's all. Bye.